So it's time to get started on the first real build for Bald Spot Garage. Now this build is going to be actually for a friend of mine. And what we're starting with is this chassis right here. This is a S10 chassis. I believe it's 82 to 93 version of the chassis. It's already got 3.5-inch lowering blocks in the back and drop spindles on the front. He bought it off some guy that was originally going to use it on some project. It never happened, and supposedly already had a V8 sitting in it at one point and had V8 conversion mounts and everything. But him and one of his neighbors have already shortened this thing to a 108-inch wheelbase, which is the wheelbase for the body shell that we're going to be putting on top of this. So next, we're going to go pick up that body from my buddy's house. And it is actually a pretty rare car that's probably most anybody watching this has never seen before. But knowing that it's a 108-inch wheelbase and what it looks like, maybe you can put your guesses below as to what it actually is before we tell you.
I need my weight.
It needs ballast.
Nope.
Not like that.
That's it.
Oh boy! Hold on a second. Hold on. So did anyone in the comment section get it right as to what this is? Did anybody even comment? Because we are still a pretty small channel at this point. But what this is a 1957 MG Magnet. Now, a lot of people here in the States know what an MG is because of MGBs and midgets, but most of them have never heard of a Magnet. These cars were built throughout the 50s, but they were brought in pretty low numbers. They built about 25,000 total of these, and about 5,000 of them came to the US. And they're really rare today because the survival rate is actually very low on these things. And not because they weren't good cars. They were actually built like tanks and surprisingly reliable for their day. But because they were built like tanks, in England, they were used very heavily for 30 years in banger racing, which used them all up over there. So there's probably even fewer left in England than there is here in the US. And from my understanding, the parts availability is, for used parts, is even worse over there than it is here. Now this one still has its engine in it. It's frozen, but that's okay because we're not going to use it anyway. Another reason why these things were not that popular as used cars here in the US is this is a 1500cc engine with 68 horsepower. The car weighed 2,500 pounds. So let's just say acceleration wasn't exactly all that sharp. So they didn't keep up with traffic very well here in the US from, say, the mid-60s on. And once this thing is actually on that chassis and we get it all fitted, we're going to be putting a small box Chevy in here. So this MG is going to get more grunt. Now here in the US, parts availability on anything British from the time this was made up until the 90s was pretty bad. You had to wait months usually to get parts for them, and there weren't a lot of mechanics that wanted to deal with them. So in the used car market, they were worth nothing. And when something went wrong with them, they usually end up just getting parked behind the house somewhere. So most of them just rotted away until they got sent to the junkyard. There is a Magnet group here in America, and a few years back they said they believed there might be 200 viable restorable cars left in the US. So that rarity is the reason why my buddy wants to use this as his rat rod project. We can go to pretty much any car show anywhere and you're not going to see another one. So now we got all the engine and transmission and everything out of the inside stripped out of this thing. We want to prepare it for test fitting on the new chassis. But before we go ahead and knock out the suspension, we want to brace the body shell up a little bit. So we're going to do some X-bracing here and do some bracing down across the bottom, because at some point the rockers are going to have to come out of this thing. And maybe across this way, and try to tweak that door opening a little bit to get everything, to get that one fitting the way we want it to, because the transmission tunnel is going to have to come completely out. This cross member has got to come out, probably the whole floor, seat pan, and quite a bit of the firewall. So there's not going to be much structure left in this, so we want to put some structure back in it first. I wonder if this fuel pump still works. Right? He took all these bolts out of here, and got to put something back in here to keep the structure solid, because all this is coming out. So you're probably going to have to just cut it right across here.
Yeah. Straight
Take
across.
out most of this and across here and just get this out of the way.
Yep.
Figure out what we're going to need. What is it? Oh, it's not even got it. It's just stuck on there. There's no pin in it. There you go.
What might be lurking under there?
Oh, still enough there to make a pattern from.
Pretty close.
That's it.
No submit.
Or a break. Yeah. Submitted. Darn it! Still never got used to this welder. Where the wire is actually coming out at. Alright. That reminds me how long it's been since I've been welding. You know?
Because it looks like my welds.
No, I keep missing the spot that I'm looking to hit.
You could do right there,
Yeah, I could.
but you really need to.
And then we'll do a straight across here
All right.
somewhere.
Where's your tape measure?
About 51, 52 range. Be fine for that.
$51, $52, whatever it takes.
I'll put my helmet on, it'll be better. Let's get the steering column out of the way.
Ooh.
We'll go straight one across
I
here.
have the old ball.
What you think?
I think it's ready. Let's cut.
Of course you think it's ready. Because we can do an X here within this. Keep the body from doing this.
Yep.
We could run a straight across here.
Yep.
See if these are, I got a whole stack of these, see if they're long enough. They're often the same shelves, they're all the same length. 1/4 inch short, story of your life. Well, 1/2 inch on that side. We'll do the same thing we just did.
Yeah.
Just, we'll need these in here when we cut the rockers out.
In 3 more months, that's what the sun will feel like.
I hate that. Take up too much of the space with a cross brace. But we need something in here, you know?
Well, you can just run that one from the front to the back, right?
No, not straight. It needs to be, you need a diagonal in there somewhere to keep anything from moving that way.
Well, that one's long enough to do a diagonal.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be completely in our way the whole time we're working on something too. If I put a huge jack, if I do that, then it's just in our way all the time. These are going to be enough in our way already. Across here, we're trying to work on it, it's kind of in the way, you know?
Not really. Not as much, like if you do it like that. So there's 2.
You can do this,
And here's
you know, if we do it like this,
yeah, you got the vice versa right there.
it doesn't matter where you put them, it's either going to be in your way or not support the car well enough.
Guaranteed.
They can always be moved later. Well, we think we got enough temporary structure in here. I can guarantee it's going to be in our way no matter where we put it, but where we got it now might be the most out of our way while still being enough to hold it. So now we got to start looking at getting the front and rear suspension out of it and cutting transmission tunnel and some of the other stuff out, but we also need to figure out how to lift it up.